I have just started recording, so welcome to everyone that's listening now or anyone that's listening in the future. How does it get better? So, Smriti, is there anything you want to say or Radna before I launch into whatever I want to talk about today?
So first of all, we are all so excited that you're coming to India with your classes, Business Whispering, Body Whispering. I remember when I first met you, I had no clue what Body Whispering was all about. Can I claim to know what it is all about even now? No, but I know it's everything.
I'd love you to know what it's about because I still have no idea, so it would be very helpful.
It was a class that allowed me or took me to a place where I could tap into all my knowing, which I have with bodies. Okay, even I didn't know I have that kind of knowing. And that's what it allowed me to tap into. And it didn't feel as if it was a knowing only from this lifetime. It was like a knowing that I've had with bodies forever and how to work with bodies. And it was simply beautiful.
Wow.
So I am quite excited that you are coming. And what can all of us get out of these classes? And how much more communion can we have with our bodies? And how do we really learn the language of the body? I mean, I know body speaks, and it's something I only begun to know now. So it's wonderful. So thank you for choosing to come to India to facilitate these classes.
Thank you. I love coming to India. That all of you that have seen me and met me in India know that I talk a lot about India. It facilitates a lot, not only for the people in the classes in India, but it actually facilitates a lot for myself personally and for the classes itself. Some of the biggest leaps that we take in where the classes go and how much it's grown from year to year has been because we choose to come to India at least a couple of times a year, every year, and it's got some energy which it really resonates with over there. So and I would love to talk more about that. I have just remembered that I'm meant to be live streaming this to Facebook. So if you give me 2 seconds, I'm just going to grab my phone and live stream it to Facebook, guys, and I'll be right back. Smriti, in the meantime, tell them where I'm coming and what I'm doing.
So,
I'll mute you guys.
yeah.
This is coming.
Dolly Mehta, can you mute yourself?
Okay, I have just muted everyone. Smriti, I've just unmuted you. So you can talk now.
So while Adeela is getting on to the Facebook Live, so we have a few classes happening, one in Hyderabad. We have an intro evening for Business Whispering on the 5th of Jan. And then we have the Body Whispering in Hyderabad on the 6th and 7th of Jan. Yeah. And then Adeela flies into Delhi on 7th night. And on 8th, we have 1 day Business Whispering in Delhi. And then we have 9th and 10th Body Whispering in Delhi. So the go-to people for everybody is Aradhana and Chandana in Delhi and Monica Gogia in Hyderabad.
That's correct. Awesome.
And we're also hoping to put together a Global Bars Day swap on the 6th evening in Hyderabad.
Yeah, on the 6th.
We don't have the details yet, but we are aiming for it.
And we thought, what better way to kind of meet the people, whether or not they're able to make the full 2-day class for the Body Whispering class, they can come along, probably it'll be at the same venue, and drop in for a bar swap, or if they've never tried bars before or never heard about Access before, it's just going to be a really nice, fun way for everyone to meet each other and for me to get my bars run and for everyone who's there and who would love to have their bars run after the after day one of the body whispering class. So that's going to be in Hyderabad. And again, Monica is my host, and she is the person to talk to about any information you would like about coming along to the bars that we're going to have for Global Bars Day. So,
and the venues are Lemon Tree in Hyderabad and the park at Delhi.
In Delhi, yeah. So all of the logistical stuff is available via my team, which is Aradhana and Chandana in Delhi. Smriti is part of everything, so you can contact her, and I'm sure she will get back to you because she's very good at that. And then Monica is looking after our team in Hyderabad this time. So guys, what I wanted to do, which is something that I love to do each time I'm coming to India or not, is to connect with you guys and talk a little bit about what it is you'd like to know more about, and to help facilitate anything I can in this forum. And I'd also like to talk a little bit more or shed a little bit more light on this whole concept of what body whispering is for me, and why I continue to facilitate these classes and sessions, and what kind of I'm hoping to help contribute to the people and to the bodies that come along to those classes. So you know, just like everyone else, I'm on a personal journey too. And each time that we have these classes, it, like I said, it opens up more and more for me. And I'm learning more and more about who I am and what my capacities are, and how to kind of navigate through this lifetime. And something that is really important to me is empowering people. And so that's why so much of the work and so many of the classes that I love doing have come through Access Consciousness, because it's the same. We're sitting on the same foundation, if you like, or platform, where it's about empowering people to know what you know. And for me as well, I've just got into this piece where I'm like, wow, there is so much information within all of us. There is so much information that we are aware of. There is so much information that our bodies are aware of. And the best thing about this is that the information that comes through us and to us from within us or from our bodies is highly, highly relevant to us. So it's not something that you're buying from another teacher or a guru or a facilitator that is very relevant to them, but not so relevant to you. And so, you know, when Smriti and a lot of the other people, when they say like, wow, you really helped me know what I know for me, and you really helped my body. Like, it's the first time I stepped into having so much communion and conversation with my body. It's because it really is about what can you step into that you know about you, and you can now step into as the gifts that you have and what you are here to do in the world, and with your body and with any other talent that you have. And how can we exponentialize those capacities? So that is what body whispering is about. And that's also what any facilitation with me is around, is how can I help you help yourself better? How can I help you create the life that you are looking for? How can I help you realize what's true for you and step into that life and step into that world? Because it's going to be a life and a world and a body that works so much better for you, because it is true for you. It's not what works for anyone else necessarily, it's what works for you. And that's why these classes have often been something that creates change for people when they've tried lots of other things and it hasn't, because it's not coming from an outside in point of view. I'm not trying to tell you what you should do that's coming from a formula that should work for you because it works for everyone else. I'm saying, hey, what do you know? What is your body saying? What is it that we can choose here? What is it that you can apply here? What capacity do you have here that you haven't been stepping into, that the mutation of that capacity is screwing up your life or screwing up your health? Because that so often that's what it is. It's, you know, when we're not stepping into our true capacity.
Oh.
That's what causes problems in our lives, isn't it? So, do I have any questions? Is there anything in particular you guys wanted to know about today?
So, Adeela, if somebody is facing some problems with their body, like there's something going on, either with their body or a loved one's body, where does a person begin? I mean, if there's a disease in the body, if there's some discomfort in the body, we know that there's something that is required. So how does one really begin?
Yeah, so
Is a question that's often asked.
yeah, and it's cool because I remember we spent a lot of time doing this in the body whispering class we just did in Mumbai. And the question that I would keep coming back to is when someone asks me, this is what's going on, how do I even begin? Where do I begin? Something I say for you to do is to ask yourself, okay, these are the three questions. Is this an awareness? Is this a capacity? Is this mine or is it somebody else's? So is this an awareness? Is this a capacity? So what do you get when you ask that question? And so there's a series of questions that we go through that I think it makes it easier to break down how to get to the information that you're looking for. Because, you can start somewhere, and you could start with working on someone's body, and there's a million things that could be going on for that person. But most people have, at least at the time that they come to see you for facilitation or when they're coming to a class, there's often this one really big issue that they want to change. Like someone will come and see you for a session and they'll say, I want to lose 20 kgs, or I want to do this, or I want to change that. So, don't go from a million different things it could be. Don't try and start out there. Just start exactly where you are. Look at where you are and look at what's going to read for that person. So, that great question that we all know about, first of all, who does this belong to? If it's a pain or a disease, then if it's absolutely something that they're very certain is theirs, because most people will say to you, it's mine. They'll say, even when you're like, are you sure about that? They'll say, yeah, 110%. This is mine. And I've had it for 25 years. I haven't been able to change it. So you go, okay, cool. What's the next question you can ask? So then you can say, is this an awareness or is this a capacity? Is this something that you have an awareness about, or is this a capacity that's been mutated into what we call disease or dis-ease or a health problem? Or it looks like you can't share.
Adeela, what do you mean by capacity?
What do I mean by
awareness? I get.
Okay.
But what is capacity?
Capacity is where you have a talent or an ability with a certain, a talent or an ability in that area to do something, and you don't want to change that. So a capacity is somewhere where you have a natural inclination to be able to do something that perhaps other people don't. So for some people,
so like for example, when I was going through cancer, these are kind of questions I asked, even though I wasn't in Access then. And I said, what can I create from here? What value can I create from here? And what I stepped into was the field of alternate healing. And from there, I stepped into being a facilitator, and I am loving my life now. So is that what you mean? Unlocking a capacity?
There's a really common capacity. I don't want to say common as in any common person. I mean, healing is, a lot of people are healers. They have the capacity to heal, and they're not aware of it, or they don't want to know about it, or they don't know how to step into it. Because they've never acknowledged that capacity and then haven't gone about empowering themselves with the tools or learning the tools that would help them go through life with that capacity to make it easier for themselves. What they do is they either pick up on lots of stuff or try and take stuff out of people without being aware of it. and they end up either feeling really sick all the time, or having a lot of or having like really common ones like anxiety, not being able to step out into really crowded places because they get really anxious and overwhelmed, things like that. Not liking certain places, not liking certain people, not because they cognitively don't like those people or places, but because they don't know how they're meant to navigate through life with this capacity that would actually be really helpful to them if they acknowledged it and were given the tools of how to use it. Instead, it's like, how am I meant to go through life? Okay, I'm just going to avoid any crowded places because going near a whole lot of people just makes me feel sick.
Yeah. Okay, got it. So there's a question, Adeela, on the chat. How is this class different from the body class?
So
Oh gosh, I can say it's hugely different, but you go for it.
Sweetie, do you want to answer the question? But I will give you my take on it. This is not a class where I teach you how to run a particular body process. So that is the biggest difference for me, is this is about taking processes and running them in the way that I tell you to run them, by placing your hands exactly where I tell you to place them. This is actually about, okay, there's energy here. There's something I can do here to contribute to my partner's body that I'm working with in the class, or my own body. How do I follow the information that I have available to me, that body is telling me, that my body is telling me, and how do I follow that energy to create the greatest amount of change for that person or that body right in front of me? So that's how it's different to a body class or a body process class, or a bars class, or anything where we have a set protocol or procedure, because of course those classes and processes have their place. We know how amazing they are, how potent they are, how much they change. These classes are slightly different in that they're actually about, if you only had yourself as a resource, how are you going to tap into what you know to do? So it's about bringing that to the surface, because the more you know how to navigate through life with yourself as the biggest resource you have, then you're going to be able to get through all of the situations in life that you come up against, and you're not going to go, hang on, where's my manual to look at, or where's my phone to call my facilitator that I need to call, or what do I do here? It's actually about, what do I know, and what information is available to me right now. The point of body whispering, the reason I called it body whispering, and now there's business whispering and life whispering, is because all of these entities, bodies and businesses and life, in any situation, there is so much information. Like, you guys know how much information. You have a conversation with one other person. How much stuff is unsaid, yet you are aware of? How many different layers of unsaid things are going on at any given time in any situation that you're in? And this brings us back to that thing about capacities, is that people think that they have a mental health issue, or they're schizophrenic, or they're bipolar, or they have anxiety, or they have weird things going on with them. But actually, often it's because we are so aware of how many layers of unsaid and unspoken and unmentionable things are going on in any situation. And if you're going to choose to be unaware of it rather than realizing it's going on, you're going to think that you're going crazy, or you're going to decide that you have anxiety and you don't want to go into those situations, or that you don't like going into crowded places, or that you don't like certain people. But often it's because you're just aware of all the other things that there is to be aware of, but nobody's actually ever said to you, yes, that's true and correct, and that is a capacity that you have. It's a capacity that we all have. And so when you don't get given that green light, you get made wrong, right? So you make yourself wrong, or somebody else makes you wrong. And so then you go, oh, I must be wrong. let me go back to being anxious and not and going on my meds or having a mental health issue or whatever way you want to look at that.
Adeela?
So can I add? Okay, go Sonal.
Yeah.
Hi, I have a question about barriers.
Yeah.
So I really resonate with everything you've said, and I work with bodies a lot myself. So I'm really aware. I'm sorry, that's my nephew. I'm on a family vacation.
That's okay.
For me, the trouble is that I know that I'm aware of this stuff, but I'm having a really hard time putting my barriers down. And I'm not sure what to do about that, or what questions to ask, or what to tell myself that, okay, it's okay to like put your barriers down. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Can I ask you a question that might
Yes.
do you really have barriers?
That's a no.
She's smiling. For everyone that can't see her, she's smiling when she says
Okay, that's a yes then.
like, I don't mean this. I know we talk about barriers a lot and putting down our barriers and being vulnerable. So I'm not saying, it's just sometimes we take concepts and we decide that they're this particular thing and it's really significant and it's this really real thing. So like, oh my gosh, I have barriers up. I have, a 10-foot wall in front of me that's not letting anything. And for you in particular, so this is what body whispering is about, guys. This is what any sort of facilitation, in my interesting point of view, is around. Is it's actually following the energy and the whispers of what's actually going on, despite what appears to be going on. So, Sonal has done a lot of this work. She is a very aware person, and she has said, I feel like I have so many barriers, even though I know it would be easier for me or more of a contribution to me if I put my barriers down. And I'm saying, I get that, and I get that cognitively that's what you may have decided is what's going on for you, to try and get to some sort of understanding as to what's happening and why you're responding this way. But actually that energy is not matching. That is not your body, and your
Right.
telling me is what's going on. And when I asked her that question, the way she smiled, I was kind of like, yeah, we're onto the right thing. And it's not always that easy. Sometimes you guys will say to me, no, absolutely, it's my barriers, 110%, I decided it is. So, then your facilitation takes a little bit longer. But so Sonal, if it isn't you actually having the barriers up, what else could it be?
I think I'm just aware of everyone else's barriers and resistance, and the comfortable distance that we've been talking about. Yeah.
So if it wasn't that stuff, can you give me an example around where you think you have your barriers up? Like what kind of people?
I would say mostly anything people and entity related.
You really like people, don't you?
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
You really like people, don't you?
Oh, not at all.
I'm a little bit cheeky, guys. For those of you that don't, I have a sense of humor and I prefer to facilitate with it rather than without. Sonal is not someone who loves being in a room with 100 people all giving her attention. So something she really conveniently does is she says, oh my God, I have all these barriers up here. And the other thing she does is she makes herself invisible. And she goes, nobody can see me. I wonder why. I wonder what I'm doing wrong. No one's paying me any attention.
If you're not having a clean mate, there then she complains.
And this is
I know. What was there? What was inside?
I just need to
Okay.
What?
So,
So when you're out, then they come. How
sorry.
can you let them?
Is that got it? Okay. So, when you decide that so a dichotomous universe, or having conflicting points of view, or what I call being incongruent. And again, here I am using that word again, but Sonal says she's congruent with people and wanting to work with people and facilitate people, and on the other hand, she really doesn't like a lot of people. She's not an extrovert by any means. She's an introvert, right? So here you have you have a person who is incongruent with what the situation that they're in, or what they say they want, and that incongruence is causing conflicting results, as is the most common thing that incongruence creates is conflicting results. It's when you say you want to be really rich or have lots of money, but you don't want to do anything that will create money. Or it's when you say you want to really lose weight and every day you eat chocolate and you don't go and do any exercise. You're being incongruent. So for Sonal, the really logical cognitive explanation she's come up with is she has all these barriers up, and that's why she can't connect, or whatever it is that the barriers are stopping her from doing. And really, she just doesn't want to have a bar of it. And that's her body's really awesome way of being like, I don't want it. Stop making me. I'm going to put my barriers up. Okay, she understands barriers because it's a language, it's a word and a concept that we've used enough times that she can rationalize herself into understanding that behavior, rather than really looking at it and going, wow, I keep putting myself and my body in these situations where it doesn't want to be, and so this is my body's way of whispering it to me. So that's the body whispering aspect of it, and this is how she's rationalized it and cognitized it. And then you take that one step further, it drives you crazy, because when she gets to a point where she decides, I really want to change this, but now I don't know how to change it, like why is it not changing? And she's already decided that it's barriers that she can't lower no matter how much she's trying, and yet she is incongruent with being around lots of people and entities. So she doesn't want to be there, but she's trying to be there. But whenever she goes there, she puts these barriers up in her mind. It gets really, really frustrating, because you think you're doing all of this work and you're running all these clearings and you're seeing all these facilitators trying to change this thing that will not change.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Exactly that. And that's why I love body whispering, guys, because it's not about me and what I'm doing in those classes or in those sessions. It's more about, like, where are you not being congruent with what you say you want, with what you're doing? And what is your body telling you around what would actually work for you and your life and your body?
Can I come in? Can I ask you a question here, Adeela? Please, something to do with what Sonal just asked. So she said when she's around with people, around lots of people, she senses that her barriers go up. So what often happens with me is, when I'm around a lot of people, I get that I just quit my body, and I'm like, I'm not being present with what I'm choosing, because it's just picking up so many people's thoughts, feelings, and emotions. It's just easier to step out of my body and just not have to deal with that.
Okay.
So with body whispering, I do remember when I got that session from you in Langkawi, and when I came to you for a session, it was for the pain in my shoulder. What I can actually talk about cognitively, what really shifted a lot for me, was I began to get more present with me. I began to get actually more present with every time I was stepping out of my body and doing just that, because it was just easier to step out. It was just easier to not be present with what I was receiving, all the information that I was receiving. So sitting in this class with you, Adeela, would that have us being more present? Because I have that question very often coming across to me, from people asking me, what is being present? And, is that really going to help us?
Yeah, okay. You know what's really cool is I can now say absolutely yes, because in the last bodybuilding class, for me personally, it was a really uncomfortable. There was so much change. There was so much.
Adeela can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's better. Thank you.
Sorry, I just have to mute the new people as they come on. They're not muted, so I need to manually do it. So there is so much change that goes on in those classes, and it is uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable even for me.
Adeela, can you mute Ankur, please? It's his audio coming in again and again.
And before that class, I wouldn't have been able to say to you without a doubt, yeah, I can guarantee that you're going to be more present after and attending this class. But I can say with a lot of conviction, and Smeety and Aradna and those other people that were there, like, far out, we had to be present, because actually the alternative to not being present in your life is it's even more painful. Like, you think, like, this is the thing, this is the awareness I got from that time in those classes. You know, we go through life, and when things get uncomfortable and we don't want to be present, we stop being present. The amount of shit that causes, and the amount of problems that causes, 10 seconds of unawareness is enough to completely ruin a scenario or a situation, or to cause a lot of problems in your life. So the alternative to not being present is to spend a lot of your time needing to clean up the issues that get created from 10 seconds of unawareness or 10 seconds of unconsciousness. So I've now gotten to the point where I'm like, you know what? It's not worth it. I'm going to be aware all of the time. I'm going to be conscious and present all of the time, even if it's uncomfortable. And we did that in that last class in Mumbai. We were all present, and everyone, I'm sure, had turns of dipping out and not wanting to be there at the times where it got really uncomfortable. But in general, that there was this large emphasis placed on what are you creating in your life, and where are you choosing to be unpresent, because that is when you create the problems. That is when you create dis-ease or disease. That is when you create unhappiness. That is when you make choices that were really not your best choice. So are you willing to now be present with your body, be present with your life, be present with your business, be present with your financial reality, be present in all those areas where you haven't been wanting to be present? Because sometimes it's not a nice thing that you have to become aware of. Sometimes you have to realize that you've been functioning in really screwed up ways or making really bad decisions. But until you're going to be aware and choose to change it, you're not going to you're not going to be able to change that situation or scenario.
So Adeela,
Thank you for that. Yeah.
Can I add to what happened in the body class in Mumbai? Like, personally for me, this is also to do with Anu's question, what's the difference between body class and body whispering? So what I first figured was that there is no, like you said, there's no particular way. There's no particular process that we follow in a body whispering class. So here was this beautiful woman on the table who I was partnering with. And I asked her what she would like to get out of the session. And then I started. And I became so present to her body. And I knew exactly what I have to do. And it was not a process. I touched her where her body asked for touch. I tickled her where her body asked for tickling. I did SE. I did acupuncture, no, acupressure. I did body process. I did SOP. I did like a combination of stuff. And can I say there was a logic to what I did? There was no logic. And yet, I knew in every moment what she was asking for, what her body was asking for. And oh boy, I worked with that body, and the sense that I got was what I shared in the beginning. Somewhere I had to acknowledge that I know. I know what is required and I just have to follow it. There's no questioning to it, there's no logic to it. And just following those whispers is what unlocked whatever required to be unlocked for her and enabled her to receive what she was asking for, which was actually receiving what she was asking for. So, body whispering is about literally getting in touch with what you know. You know that you know how to work with bodies, with your own and with other bodies. And it's something that brings forth not just what you have learned in this lifetime. For me, it was a sense that I knew these things from other lifetimes too. And I tapped into all of that knowing and gave it my best for that body. In fact, later on, in one of my personal sessions with a client, I used that. I used some body processes. I used some SC. Basically, I just did what body whispering is all about. And this lady actually said that I have walked like a Charlie Chaplin all my life. And finally, I'm walking, properly, like feet in the front, not like at an angle. And she says, this first time in my life, I'm walking straight and I'm so grateful. So can I attribute it only to a body process or only to SC or only to, the whatever I did? No, it was just the body whispering to me and I followed my knowing and I did what I did and I created the change.
So it's
that's
like
what body whispering is.
What you're saying here is that now we don't need to just do SC or just do the SOP or just do a body process. We can actually talk to the body, hear the whispers from the body, and actually just go along with whatever the body talks to us and gift that body all of that.
Precisely.
Wow, I mean, how much can a body receive, right? And for us, it was like it's either a body process or an SOP or an SC. Wow,
yeah,
that just
it was,
everything.
It was like a combination of everything. In fact, there was one participant in the class who said that this person only wants their hand held and that's it.
Wow.
And she followed just that and the body got everything it required. Do you know, I mean, when I received the session from Adeela and from the other participants when I partnered, I cannot tell you, it was the first time my body actually felt loved. It was the first time I actually, I had to literally acknowledge, oh my God, I think on this planet, Adeela knows my body the most. Today, the way she touched me everywhere that my body was asking for that touch or for that nudge or for that, whatever, that needing or whatever it was. My body felt so great after that session. It was awesome. And isn't that what we are all longing and hankering for? To be acknowledged and to feel great. And it's when we feel great that we bring in that harmony in our bodies. I think that's the gift of this class.
If I may add, it's like the class which actually empowers you to know that you know. And I think that was my first experience with the Adeela thing. And I till date had that because I think that was my first class after doing so much that actually empowered me. Like Adeela said, if I have no tools, no body process books, I know what to do. And this is actually the same of Access that empowers you to know that you know. I'm so grateful for that, Adeela. Till date, pay my gratitude to you totally. If anybody doesn't attend her class, you missing on to something. Thank you.
And we can't bring her in every month, guys. Okay.
Can I please speak something as well here?
Hi.
Hey, can I speak something up here?
Yes, Sonali, go for it.
Sorry, my volume's really low, but I just want to say one thing and add here something about whispering, something about Adeela, that the way I have begun to hear things, people, my body, my life around me and within me has changed tremendously since the last September class that I had taken with Adeela. It was my first body whispering class. I've heard about it for so many years, knowing there was something called body whispering. But when I took this class, I went in with this thing that it was all about my body, but the way my entire life has changed and shifted, uh, it's just so much beyond body. My body is now a part of who I am, along with just so many different things that actually make my life. And I am so grateful, and I you know I think I'm just best most communicative when I write, and I would have loved to write this piece rather than speak it out. But Adeela is so generous. She is so generous as a facilitator. She's so generous as a person that she's there for you, present completely. And she is, more vulnerable than even we can be with our own shit that we are standing there with. And that is what I have truly always connected to. And if I would say one reason to do and take a body class is to really be in that nurturing, caring energy that she is, which just like whispers and just like little subtle nuances actually changes your life completely. That's that.
And that has me wanting to jump into the class right now. Do we have to wait till January, guys? Wow. Yeah. So looking forward to that.
So, hi Adeela, this is Sunita. So, I would first start by acknowledging the amazing class that I attended, Body Whispering, and the personal session that I received from you was something which you took me into an awareness which was locked into my body, and I was carrying it in a particular part of my body as dis-ease. And so amazingly you facilitated me into something which I could have never imagined. So thank you so much for that. So guys, be prepared for all surprises. So my question, yeah.
1 second, Sunita, did you know that if you repeat the class, you get a discount?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so how much more could actually show up for you if you chose to do it the second time? Yeah?
Yes, definitely.
And in Delhi again.
Yes, please. So my question is that, Adeela, can you talk a little bit about business whispering this time, the new one-day class that you're bringing to Delhi for us?
Thank you for that question. Yeah, I can. So, Sunita, a few people have mentioned it. These classes in body whispering, even though it's got the word body in it, what happened is it changes every aspect and every area of your life, because your body is showing you how to go through life on this planet. And sometimes we unlock certain things, just like with you. And thank you for the update, because I was wondering about that a few weeks ago, and I wanted to know if that thing had actually completely gone away or changed. So it sounds like it has. So sometimes there are things in our bodies, and this is going back to that capacity that I talked about earlier as well. Sometimes we have capacities or abilities in our bodies, and when we unlock them, the body whispering classes and sessions don't just change what's happening in your body. It can change your whole life, what happens in your life, how you go through life. So that concept, because I do a lot of business coaching with my clients, or my clients started asking me a lot about money and business and how to change that area of their life, we realized that just like your body talks to you and can gift you awareness and can ask you to do particular things to unlock those capacities or to change your body or your life, your business does the same thing. So again, sometimes people are trying really hard to make business work, or they're doing something over and over again in their business, how we get taught to do business, or how they think they need to do business in this reality, and it's not working. And actually, if they just listened to the whispers of their business, if they did what they knew, if they did what was congruent with them, and their business. If they tried to make money in the way that not only created the most ease for their body, but also was the most congruent for them and was what their business wanted them to do, it would be more successful than if they tried to do it the old school way, or if they tried to do it how their neighbor was doing it, or how their dad did it, or how they get taught to do it. Now, something I'm really excited about this Business Whispering class is it's a one-day intensive. The first half of the class is based on, it's called the energetic creation of your business. So for those of you that are in business or working, if you're working in corporate, if you're working for yourself, if you're working for anyone else, it doesn't matter. It's called Business Whispering, but you apply it to whatever you're doing in life. How do you energetically create it to set yourself up for success? So what I mean by that is, are you actually listening to the whispers of your job, of your body, of your business? Are you doing it how, if you did it that way, it would create the best results? Or are you banging your head against a wall trying to do it how you got taught you had to do it? Are you doing it how everyone else in your industry is doing it and wondering why you're not coming out any further ahead than they are? Are you functioning from competition rather than creation? So that's what the first half of the day is about in the Business Whispering class. The second half of the day, I have created a manual, which is very unlike me. But there's so much stuff that I wanted to get through that I actually took the very best stuff that I facilitate with my one-on-one clients, and I put it into this manual so I don't forget and we don't forget, and you actually have really relevant things to go through. I'm a really practical person. Like, I know this stuff sounds really airy-fairy, but I'm very practical in nature. So if I'm doing a business class, I wanted it to have those elements that people want to know about. I want to talk about sales. I want to talk about marketing. I want to talk about bottom line. I want to talk about client attraction. I want to talk about conversion. I went to dinner the other night with a group of people, and I coach a couple of them, and I walked in and one of them was like, "Oh my God, Adeela, 10 sales lined up for January and they're all closing. I'm closing. And I was like, yes, I love closing, because it doesn't matter how many prospects you have. If you're not closing your deals, you're not making money, right? So that stuff's important to me. So I want to make you guys be aware that not only can you have your body work for you and create ease and joy with your body, but how can you make your business work for you or your job work for you? How can you function from ease and joy and fun and doing it in the way that's most congruent with you in your business or in your job? So that's why the Business Whispering class got created, because I couldn't add that whole other element to the Body Whispering class. We're going to end up with a 5-day class otherwise. So it's its own class with a slightly more, it has more of a focus, if you like, on business and money and those really practical things that people want to talk about. And that's why it's a 1-day intensive, because we're doing it in Delhi on a Monday, because I really wanted people to come to it, attend this class, and be able to go to work on Tuesday and to apply this stuff and to see success. That's how easy it is, and that's what I wanted to create with it, and that's why it is the format that it is. So thank you for asking about the Business Whispering class. That is what it is. And I'm really excited, like I always am with my classes when I come to India.
And it is at the Park Hotel.
It's at the Park.
Yes.
So very looking
And also
forward
that
to
class
it.
with Adeela earlier, you get a 20% discount on Business Whispering too.
Yeah, guys, I'm offering an awesome discount, if I may say so myself, because I learned something about business in India when I came to India last time, which is you guys love discounts, and I wasn't discounting. And because I don't discount, but this is more.
These are special prices for special people.
This
is not a discount.
In terms of, I'm not discounting what you're getting and you're not discounting what you're receiving. This is about honoring and saying, I know
Yes.
there are people that chose this body whispering class when it didn't even exist out in the world. They had no idea what they were signing up for, and they came to these classes 3 years ago. So now, for anyone that's attended any of my body whispering classes, if you're doing the body whispering class again, you get it at a 50% repeat price. So it's a 50% discount. If you are attending the business whispering class, you'll get a 20% discount.
And also in Hyderabad, if you're attending the business whispering intro on the 5th evening, that is a gift to you if you're also attending the body whispering class starting the next day on the 6th.
Yeah, because you should be able to get some cool tips and tricks about making more money if you're going to invest in coming to the 2-day class the next 2 days. If you only want to do the taster, that is fine. It is 50 USD. You can turn up to that. We're going to live stream that too. There is so much stuff happening, guys. I know that it seems like, wow, there's more information every time we do something.
Adeela, are we live streaming the business whispering as well for people who can't make it to Delhi?
Yeah.
So guys, you can also join online and be with the business whispering class, irrespective of where you are in India or in the world. So do join in. And in a couple of days, we'll also reach out to you if you wish to host a pod. That is, if a group of people want to get together and watch the class together online, then we can work something out for you. So just get in touch with me if you're interested in hosting like a group setting, like what we call a pod or a pop, since it's live streamed.
Cool. So we're coming up to probably the last 10 minutes. There are a couple of questions on here that I
have a question.
So somebody has asked, how do we do body whispering with ourselves? And the other thing and then another question is, how do you actually listen to those whispers? I know you're going to teach it in the class, but come on. I get that. So I wanted to address something here. You know how Smriti was describing her experience in the class. And in the class, we do a whole lot of things. Not only is there facilitation, but there are tables where I work on people, as well as you guys partner up and you work on each other. And the point of that is to really, over 2 days, to really drum into you your ability to follow the energy and to be able to work on other people, on yourself, to change situations. So for those of you that were listening to Smriti talk and saying, that's cool that you were doing all that stuff, Smriti, but I don't know how to do acupressure points. I don't know how to do SE sessions. I haven't done any body work before. I'm not a body worker. I'm not interested in being a body worker. That's cool. I totally get it. So this is what I want to say to you guys, is it's not about what you're doing to that body, and if you have techniques that you've learned previously that you're able to apply. It's about your ability to listen to the energy and the information that is present and there for you to listen to, that you can listen to in any situation. It's about these classes, what they do is they create an environment where you can take a whisper and it amplifies it, so it increases the volume so you can hear it better, so that when you walk out of that class, you can then take that ability to listen to the information and the whispers in any situation and make it work for you. So like Smriti said, somebody in that class, what got whispered to them was, I just need to hold my partner's hand for 45 minutes. So somebody held their partner's hand for 45 minutes with total presence, total nurturing, and total care. That was the session that they gifted, and that was the session their partner received. And it was exactly what that person required. You do not need to have done any body work previously to be able to hold someone's hand, or to place your hands on their feet, or to stroke their hair, or to sit beside them with total presence and vulnerability. What is the value in you doing that? Because in life, there will be situations where, as long as you are intently present and intently aware and vulnerable, you are going to receive all the information that you need to be able to change that situation. In these sessions, in these classes, we are changing humongous things. And I don't mean that to sound significant, but these classes really are. And they blow me away. I'm not taking the credit for it. I'm saying that you guys are amazing. These classes are classes where things that have held people up, or people have felt that they haven't been able to change these situations their whole life, or they've had this health issue or a body issue for like the last 10 years, 5 years, that stuff has changed in these classes. And that stuff has changed not by me working on those people, by you guys working on each other. Because your partner was willing to step into that space, to be present, to be aware, and to follow the energy. Now, that is what we are offering you, to be able to, in any situation, be able to be aware, be present, and do whatever is required, say whatever is required, act in whatever way is required to change anything you want to change. That is of value to me, is to be able to change anything that I want to change in my life. Okay, so to the person that said that they'd like to know how to body whisper, it's I don't know. Okay, a question is, will I be coming to Mumbai in 2018? I don't know. Okay.
Pull. We'll get her into Mumbai.
Money and I'll come. You guys create a class, have people turn up. What else is possible? Okay, so it's like, if you want to whisper with your own body, you've got to first of all acknowledge your capacity to be able to change anything you want to change, and realize that where you're not changing something, it's because you're either incongruent with what you say you're wanting to change, or you're not willing to receive the information and receive that healing or change from yourself. The underlying message or the underlying theme of any of my classes is healing. Because I am a healer. And you are all healers. Whether you're here to heal bodies, whether you're here to heal businesses, financial situations, other people, the planet, animals, there is some capacity that you have to heal. I know that. Now, I have my capacities to heal, and I'm using them in this forum, in this capacity, in this way. Now, if you want to change something, if you're saying you want to change something, but you're not acting in the way that's congruent with changing it, or you're not actually willing to receive from yourself, or not willing to receive from the people that are trying to help you change it, it's not going to change, no matter how much you try. So let's go back to those basic questions then. For those of you that are saying, give me a few tips about body whispering, like I said, get really aware, get really present. So whether it's with yourself or with a partner or with an animal, whatever you want to change, first of all, expand out. Expand. You're not going to change something by being really caught up in your mind. When I work on bodies, I talked about this in the last class, I don't have a cognitive mind. I also don't do a lot of talking when I work with bodies or on bodies anymore, because I don't have my cognitive mind that I'm functioning from. If you're going to spend your whole time in your head wondering if you're doing it right, and wondering if you're doing the right thing and touching your partner in the right way, you're going to spend more time and energy doing that than actually following the energy. So expand out and lose your mind. Trust that your body can listen to your partner's body and do what's required. Trust that your body can interact with the information in your environment, with the other bodies in your environment, with the other people, with the planet, to receive the information it needs to receive to do what it's required to do. Now, if you're willing to stop judging you and stop judging your body and stop judging the information and awareness that you've received, and you're willing to act on it, what is it telling you to do? Where is it telling you to place your hands? Where is it telling you to go to? Who is it telling you to talk to? Are you going to follow that energy now? Are you going to follow those whispers and do what it's telling you to do? Or are you going to question it with your cognitive mind because it doesn't make logical sense? When you get willing to make your awareness the greatest asset that you have, whether or not it makes cognitive sense, you're going to start having amazing results. You're going to start changing your life. And these classes is about spending 2 whole days where I don't care what your cognitive mind tells me. I'm not interested. Let's change this by following the energy. And when you spend 2 whole days doing it in an environment that's supportive of that, when you leave that environment and you go into your home, into your business, into your life, you're going to be more able to do that with more ease because you've had 2 days of doing it. So then we can put you in a position where you're able to change. Okay, so any more questions? I'm done with everything that I wanted to talk about. And I'm excited.
Thank you so much, Adeela, for this call. Yeah, we are excited too.
Yeah.
And can we also talk about the private sessions that you are offering while in Delhi?
Yeah, sure. Why not? So we are offering private sessions. We're offering private sessions on the 9th because I am doing a 1-day business whispering class on the 8th. I have private sessions available in Delhi on the 9th. And then on the 10th and 11th, we have our 2-day body whispering class. So if you would like a private session, the best day for you to get them would be on the 9th. I do always have a couple of sessions I'm able to do before class and possibly after class on the day of the body whispering classes, which would be the 10th and 11th, but preference will be given to the 9th and possibly the 12th. So the person to get in touch with for private sessions in Delhi is Aradhana. The person to get in touch with for private sessions in Hyderabad is Monica. Private sessions are 250 USD each. You can pay that in INR cash or you can put it into my PayPal account. Same with the class. The class can be paid for in INR cash or into my PayPal account in USD. The class is a 32,000 INR, or you can have the repeat price if you're repeating, which is 50% of that price. Okay. Yeah, so thank you so much to everyone that's joined us. It's a special day here for us. It's Christmas Eve, so I'm about to go start doing Christmas Eve things. And for
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Have a wonderful, wonderful year ahead.
Yeah, and I'm so excited about 2018. I'm literally so excited about these classes because imagine starting January. And you know, these classes, they told us to do them on these dates like 4 months ago. So we decided to do these classes and these dates in January 4 months ago. We didn't know why. It didn't make a lot of cognitive sense because it's very early in Jan. I normally come later on in Jan, closer to Feb or in Feb. So I don't know, but often when I get there, often what gets created in the class, often the people that show up, afterwards we go, oh, wow, that's why the classes were why they were and when they were and how they were, because it created something amazing. So whoever's going to show up, I'm so looking forward to seeing you. And we are, for the first time, offering you the chance to live stream, so even more of you can join. So thank you so much to everyone for taking out time today, and thank you to all my wonderful and beautiful hosts and promoters for being on here. So if you need more information, Smriti, Aradhana, Chandana and Sonali and Monica in Hyderabad are the people to talk to. And you can always send me an email, and I'll see hopefully all of you in class in Delhi and Hyderabad in just under 2 weeks, I think. 2 weeks, about 2 weeks. How does it get better? Okay.
How does it, Adeela? Thank you so much.
Thank
Love you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thanks everyone
Thank
for coming
you.
in.
Bye. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Come on, register fast.